It's my understanding that this DUI case has already been dismissed. I have the feeling that if this were you or me, we'd still be facing charges. Let's take a look at the video.
Hello, sir. Officer Lazarus, West Dallas Police Department. You don't mind pulling over today?
Nope.
Okay. When you turned on to 60th Street from Greenfield, you didn't use your turning signal. All right. Do you have your ID on you?
I do, but
What's that?
I do, but it's like literally right behind my buddy's seat right here.
Okay.
Don't really want to reach for it.
I got you. Are there any weapons inside the car?
Absolutely.
No. Okay. Where are you guys coming from today?
I don't have questions.
You don't answer questions? Okay.
This started off pretty good for Gaige. He's been pulled over for a turn signal violation, which doesn't necessarily indicate that the driver is impaired. So the officer is walking up to this car with a neutral impression. Things start to turn downhill when he says he doesn't answer any questions. You can hear the officer perks up, kind of shifts his tone around, and now the officer's thinking this guy's going to jail.
Anything to drink tonight, sir? No. Okay. Driver, do you have your ID on you?
Am I allowed to reach?
Yeah. Go ahead. Where is it? Why don't you tell me where it is before you reach?
So it's right behind my...
All right. No, I'll take your ID, please.
I don't have it on.
All right. Why don't you step out of the car, sir? Step out of the car, sir.
I can't catch down.
All right. Put your phone on top of the car, please.
I'd like to contact my attorney, please.
Not at this point.
By refusing to give his ID there, he's automatically given the officer grounds to extend this detention out. That just doesn't make any sense, especially if you're a gun owner. If you're a gun owner, you should have your ID, your registration, and your insurance all pre-staged so you can hand it to the officer as soon as you're pulled over. The less time the police officer has at your driver's side window, the better.
Why don't you tell me your name verbally since you don't want to grab your ID?
My ID is back there.
I know, but you refused to grab it when I asked you for it.
Well, because I don't want to grab behind the chair.
I got you. Okay. Why don't you give me your name verbally then?
Not to. No,
Okay. Sir, how much have you had to drink tonight?
None.
Okay. Would you be willing to perform some standardized field sobriety test?
No.
You said no.
I'd like to contact.
Gaige's behavior at this point in time is a little bit unusual. He wouldn't give the ID, which is kind of strange. And then he says, I don't answer any questions when he asks for his name. So how am I supposed to figure out who you are? Certainly I can run the tag, but making the officer jump through those hoops, I don't see what the purpose is.
My attorney before I answer it.
At this point, you're not going to be making any phone calls, okay? Because I'm in the middle of a traffic stop. We're in the middle of an investigation here, okay? So based on your driving behavior, all right, the fact that you're slurring your speech, you have the odor of alcohol coming from your breath, ingest intoxicants, okay? I believe you're impaired, okay? And I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, all right? I want to have you perform some standardized field sobriety tests so that I know it's safe for you to be operating a motor vehicle at this point, okay? No, leave the phone there.
Would you be willing to do that?
Sir, you're not allowed to be at your phone at this time, okay? At this point, are you refusing to perform some standardized field sobriety test?
I'm not refusing. I would just like to talk to my attorney.
Do you own the vehicle, sir?
I do own that vehicle.
Okay. So if I get back the registration info, it's going to have your name on it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so both of them are playing this right. The officer recognizes that he has to get a refusal out of Gaige, and Gaige recognizes that he doesn't want to say that he refuses. The reason why this is a battleground is because if Gaige refuses, at that point in time, the state can use the consciousness of guilt argument in trial. You refused. The reason why you refused is you knew you were guilty. During jury selection, the state attorney's office will introduce an analogy through a hypothetical about Thanksgiving dinner or eating way too much, and do you step on the scale the next morning after such a big meal? The answer to that question is generally no, and then the reason why they wouldn't step on the scale is because they knew they gained too much weight the night before from eating too much. The reason why you're not blowing into the machine or the reason why you're not doing roadside sobriety tests is because you know you're guilty and you know what those results will be. The only way that's admissible in court is if the officer establishes roadside that he provided the defendant an adverse consequence for refusing to do the test. So far, I haven't heard that.
I'm going to give you one last option, Gaige, all right? Because right now, you're leaving me with nothing. You're leaving me no option here. I need to make sure that it's safe for you to be driving. If not, based on my observations, I believe you're impaired and you're operating a motor vehicle, okay? Do you get what I'm saying?
I'm not saying you don't want to perform the test.
All right. Based on my observations, you're going to be placed under arrest for operating while intoxicated.
Yeah,
This video has been edited down. Thank you to CopWatch for putting this stuff up. Go ahead and subscribe to their channel. So the question remains, did the officer provide sufficient adverse consequence for the refusal? In Florida, I think he did. I think this is going to be good enough to satisfy a Florida judge. He told him that he was likely going to be arrested or was going to be arrested if he refused. I think that's going to satisfy it. It's pretty low burden.
he just told you.
Aurora Healthcare Center.
Do you need anything from inside the vehicle, like a wallet or a phone or anything like that? Here's the question I have for you is, will you submit to an evidentiary chemical test of your blood?
I want to talk about your own.
It's a yes or no answer.
I want to talk about your own.
Will you submit to an evidentiary chemical test of your blood? If you do not answer with a yes or no answer, I'm going to consider it a refusal.
Go ahead.
As I've stated, since I want to talk about your attorney.
Walk right up to that counter, please.
That looks like a DUI blood draw kit. In Florida, if you're arrested for DUI, there's 3 different methods an officer can determine your impairment. Test of your breath, test of your blood, or a test of your urine. If the officer is going to be testing your breath, they take you and have you blow into a machine. If the officer wants to test your blood or your urine, they collect the samples that night using these pre-packaged Happy Meal kits, and then they submit those self-contained kits to the crime lab in the following days.
We're going to give you one in there. Alright, Gaige. So what I have here is a OWI search warrant for your blood, okay? I'm going to read you the face sheet here, and then at the end of this whole process, you're going to get a copy of this, okay? Whereas the court has reviewed the affidavit of Michael Zaris of the West Dallas Police Department in support of the search warrant, whereas the officer described herein has this day complained to said court upon oath that the following subject is in police custody following an arrest for operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated or impaired.
The officer just read a search warrant here. That's a really big deal. That means an independent magistrate or judge has reviewed the factual situation in front of him and then signed off and said there's enough evidence to support this blood draw. Without the warrant, the search would be presumed unreasonable and therefore unlawful unless established by an exception. With the warrant, the search is presumed valid unless there's a problem with the search warrant. So this flips the tables big time and makes this blood draw all the more likely to be admissible. So if you look at this blood draw kit, you'll see it's all self-contained. It has a set of instructions here as well as evidentiary labeling. It has a non-alcohol betadine swipe that's going to have an expiration date on it. It also provides the nurse with a butterfly needle as well as suction tubes. It has everything you need to get the blood draw totally completed. Once the blood draw is done, those tubes will go back into this box. The box will be sealed up with some of these stickers on here, and then it'll be submitted into evidence and then transported to the crime lab.
Okay, it involves me asking you questions about what happened tonight.
I don't answer any questions about my insurance.
I have to read you your rights, though. Alright. So, Gaige, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and to have them present with you while you are being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will...
The officer's reading his Miranda rights right here. I don't know that that's required. Maybe they got some special rules up there that it does. In Florida, you're generally not going to be read your Miranda rights on a basic DUI arrest. A lot of people get that mistaken. I didn't see any mistakes in this video that would result in the dismissal of the charges. However, we talked about that turn signal problem. If Wisconsin law is similar to Florida law, there might be an issue with the stop. If the stop is bad, then everything else is excluded based upon the fruits of a poisonous tree doctrine. I've explained that in this video right here.